kidding me right now? Man, would you look at those prices. Thank God it's released digitally. Welcome back to what is, I really don't even know what to really call the series at all, even if it is a series, but if it is, well, it's honestly where I just want to showcase some games that I think you all might enjoy or not know about necessarily. Now here today we're focusing on the Tomba series, or Tombi if you live in Europe. Now the first thing we did was see the prices, and yes, they are in fact very real. Why are they real? It's because these games were actually quite rare, and some people feel that pricing these at $500 is... whatever, that's a whole different story, and I did a rant time on it already. The franchise consists of two titles, Tomba and Tomba 2, or Tombi, and Tombi 2 for our European audience once again. Both titles are side-scrolling platformers, where players can do various side quests and follow a freeform path through several hub worlds, gaining adventure points and completing the aforementioned quests. The game's coming from the now-defunct WIKI, releasing digitally under the company's Gung Ho Online for Japan, and Monkey Paw Games throughout the rest of the world on the PlayStation Store. The first game in the franchise is Tomba, or Tombi, and initially released on December 25th, 1997, and almost a year later in both Europe and North America, exclusively for the PlayStation 1 console. The game revolves around Tomba, or Tombi again, a pink-haired savage, man, pork connoisseur, I don't know. Tomba goes on a search for a bangle that belonged to his grandfather, stolen by evil pigs. And, well, that's really it. It gets more wackier, as time goes on, there's more escapades, and they're entering many places and meeting many new people. The game, like its successor, relies on a quest mission mechanic, using many of Tomba's skills and numerous weapons which you would also acquire later on in the game. You're told 7 pigs have appeared, and using their magical powers have sculpted the land, cursing it. The pigs, known as the Coma Pigs, have a strange lust for gold, and have stolen Tomba's bracelet as such, and now you gotta get it back. Like most mission-based games, not all side missions are required for completion. But you do want to try the side missions too, since they do have a fair bit of story and uniqueness to them. The game itself earned high scores and was praised highly, even earning scores such as an 8 out of 10 on GameSpot and an 8.7 out of 10 on IGN, which, hey, pretty good for the game, right? I mean, it's a standard platformer, you'd think, but it really did hit, the ballpark right. Now, personally, I've never been able to get into Tomba or Tombi 1 as much, and in all honesty, I just couldn't play this game with the whole same determination I had with its successor. But that being said, Tomba 1 was a very good title. It had a whole lot of content. The game pretty much set a framework for the amazing second title, which was coming. And although the game may not have met super amazing high sales as some other PlayStation franchises or other gaming franchises in general, that's not to say the game completely failed in any regard. No, the game is very much a good title. In fact, it was good enough to warrant a sequel. And earning the high scores that it did shows that the developers behind it, WIKI, knew what they were up to. The game was decent, and still to this day is, although I may not be the biggest fan of it, Tomba 1 is a pretty awesome title. May look a little older by today's standards, but its art style really does capture itself through, and I do quite prefer it. Now moving on to the second game, the one I really like so much, once again, despite Tomba 1 not being popular and earning the platinum sales or the platinum seal of approval like many games do, it was still successful enough in its own right to warrant a sequel called Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return, also known as Tombi 2 or Tomba the Wild Adventures. Now on a personal note, here's some backstory from Muda here. This is the first Tomba game that I had ever played and experienced as a young child. My dad brought it home one evening to our newly purchased PS1 at the time. I remembered he had gotten it alongside another game called Akuji, which that game alone deserves a few mentions. I mean, it was really gothic. Hard when I was a kid, by the way, too. But this game was the one we had all played on the PS1. It was a simple platformer that we all enjoyed and knew how to play. At the time, we didn't have that many games for the PS1. We had this, we had the Siphon Filter series, actually 2 and 3. I never had the original until recently. And we also had, actually, I think I got the first Siphon Filter a couple of years, but I never really got into it as much as I did like the third game. And then alongside that, of course, we had Akuji, we had the Metal Gears, but Tomba was the one game that my dad knew how to play because it was a platform, right? He grew up with those. Well, not grew up, but, when he was my age right now, he played the original Mario titles on, like, the Game Boy. So this is, like, the closest thing for him, right? Even though he still couldn't grasp Tomba 2, and I even couldn't grasp Tomba 2, because at the time, the game, again, relied on the mission and the, the mission mechanic, right? Where you had multiple quests, and I didn't understand how that worked as a kid. So I'd usually get stuck in the game and not figure out how to progress, right? So that was my problem at the time. But as far as I did get Kujara Ranch at the time when I was a kid, it still blew my mind. And moving on until I recently beat it when I was about in the 7th grade, when I was much older and I started to dabble in the whole emulation side a whole lot. That's when I got Tomba 2 again, and I basically beat it at that point, and that I really enjoyed how it had played out. Now, Tomba 2 featured better visuals than the last, and in my honest opinion, they hold up even today. Now, the first game still holds up in my opinion. The art style works. But in this game, it's a very prime example of art style and direction over raw technical showcases. That I really have to hand to Tomba 2. The game doesn't require you to have flashy lens flare, or at the time, PS1 effects that were very common. This game, it was pretty advanced, both in the graphical department, but the visual style really holds up. In fact, some people go as far as to say it's like a 3D, cartoon that people are watching, and I totally do agree with that. The game really stands out in the color. They're vivid. A lot of it reminds me of a racing game called Scars that I had on my PS1 at the time too. So it reminded me a lot of that game, and overall I really have to say the visuals do hold up in that respect. Now, again, the game does require the mission system. You have a set quest path and numerous side missions and activities that once again do have a lot of depth and lore building characteristics. In fact, I find it more often that I like doing the side stuff way more than I sometimes do the main stuff, because there's just so much I experience about this world that's unraveling around me. Now, this game also features hub worlds that you can go around, talk to people, and you can also obtain suits to gain more abilities, such as the ever popular squirrel suit, the, in my opinion, useless bird suit, and the pig suit that allows you to talk to the pig transformed people. And as you move on, you go to more locations, right? Such as Kujara Ranch, and one of my favorite area, Donglan Forest. And then you get the Water Temple. No, not that one. Oh god, not that one. This one. This is the Water Temple we've got, ladies and gentlemen. The plot for the game goes as follows. Tomba is going to meet up with his girlfriend Tabby. As Tomba arrives in her coal mining town, that's literally what it's called, by the way, too. I'm not making that shit up. It's literally called the coal mining town. At this point, we know that she is kidnapped, and, to get her back, we have to capture numerous pigs in numerous pig bags. It's a weird story, but then again, it's a weird game. And as far as that goes, the story doesn't delve too deep into anything. That's where we're really going to. Again, it's to get our girlfriend back, and it's to really help the townspeople in the game away from their pig curse. So that's about it, okay? It stays interesting and it stays unique throughout, but don't expect, like crazy levels of, story progression or writing over here like, Metal Gear Solid or something, right? It's a standard platformer, cutesy little story, and that's about it. Now, the game provides about 133 events, 4 if you have a save file from the original game, and completing them gives you a little costume of the final cutscene. Nothing to go out of your way for personally, especially if it means playing that goddamn trolley mission. Fuck that mission. Fuck every singular thing about that mission. You know what, dude, that's it, okay? Alright? Fuck the trolley mission in Tomba. Alright? Who the fuck? Sorry, okay, I should compose myself before doing these videos, because sometimes I come across parts of a video game that are just so badly fucking programmed that whatever, okay, you know what, we're just gonna go back to going back to the video, okay? That's what we're gonna do. Now, the game had nice music, somewhat repetitive. I mean, shit, just listen to the first level itself. Sure, it sounds good, maybe for the first couple minutes, but then you gotta deal with this shit for like 20 minutes later on and coming back to it. And it's okay, but it's repetitive, and the other areas aren't much better too. The game's voice acting, pretty cringe as hell. But to be fair, it's not supposed to be serious like Resident Evil or Silent Hill or anything, so it works out here. The game's boss battles aren't anything home to write about. They're incredibly repetitive and varies. In fact, the first time I did them, I was like, really, that's it? Because all you do is bite and toss them 3 times and you win. And you do that 5 more times, you win the game. Congratulations. The games weren't exactly that popular. Again, both earned good ratings. We have to give that into its effect too. Both of them did earn praise. In fact, this game was rated higher than the last, meaning that Whoopee Camp did no stuff behind it. They were doing a good job. Now, both Tomba games contain a ton of gameplay value. In fact, in my opinion, they have some of the tightest mechanics in the genre and hold up even today. You could pop these discs in and play these games till the sun comes up. I mean, I have a personal connection with the second title, but even over a decade and a half, I guess, 15 years from that point in my life, I still feel a connection, and it took me a bit to rationalize as I was writing this script. Is it nostalgia? Or are the games truly timeless? They may have problems, but the solid mechanics, interesting and goofy story as well, and a unique setting culminating into this odd, incredibly odd, very weird protagonist. But overall, it's a decent title. Honestly, I think you all should give this game a shot. It deserves it. I really feel that you'll all enjoy it. I mean, it's definitely a nice game, and I think if you're into something that's not as serious with some good mechanics, you'll like it. Now, it's one of those games that not many people, again, really know about. Don't go on the internet and give people $500 for a freaking CD. I've seen demo discs of this game go for like $50, which is just outlandish. And in that case, I guess I can sort of say it, because I guess those are more rare than the actual title, but shit, $50 for a demo right there? I mean, then again, I did pay for Ground Zero, so I'm not in any position to talk. You can get the whole franchise digitally, though, on your PlayStation 3 device or PSP or PlayStation Vita device for about $15. Is it worth it if you ask me? Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I guess for $15 you can't go wrong. You got a good amount of gameplay over here. And what else can I really say? All in all, this has been a look at the Tomba franchise. A good franchise, if you ask me. And hopefully, if the sales pick up digitally, maybe, just maybe, we might be able to see some form of a sequel. Maybe done in the current gen consoles today. Or at least on the PC in some form of indie release. You know, it'd be interesting to see this game handled today. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about a current day Tomba, or the series as a whole after watching this video. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know. This has been a What is Tomba video. I swear to God, we gotta come up with a name for this. Somebody should just... If you got a name for this series, just let me know in the comments below. That being said, this has been another video. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. This has been What is Tomba? And this is me, Mudahar, and I am out.